Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I hope that you will find and doing well and ready for the third session of the financial management or the third class of your financial management course, chapter number 1. Our today discussion is about the agency problem and about the agency theory. But before going towards the topic, agency problem, you should get a little bit more information about the corporation, because problems in agency problems will occur in the corporations. So we should know about the nature of corporation, and then we can discuss about the agency theory or agency problems. So dear students, if you see modern corporation is having separation of authorities, or there is an existence of separation between two groups. Modern corporation is run through two groups. One is called shareholders and the other group is called the management. So this means that company, or in other words corporation, is run by two parties. One is the capital providers, which are called shareholders, and the other one is called the business runners, or to whom we can call management. Management is the people who are responsible for the planning, organizing, leading, controlling of all the organization or all the company assets, financing, and the resources. They will use all the resources efficiently and effectively. But shareholders are the people who will provide the capital towards the company. So when there is two parties, exactly there will be a conflict. A conflict will arise between these two groups. So that's why corporation, the definition of corporation is a separate legal entity. We can define corporation. Corporation is a separate legal entity, and separation or separate mean that the owners or shareholders do not have right to put their hand in the affairs of management or in the day-to-day activity of the management. So managements are the people who are responsible for the day-to-day activity of the company and for the efficiently and effectively usage of the organization. So dear students, management within the corporation will act as an agent. Agent is the person who will work on behalf of the owners. Owners are also called principal. It's also called shareholders. So the agent is the person, or he is an individual who is authorized by owners, who is authorized by principal to act on their behalf. यानी एजेंट होना परस्त के از طرف اونر نامینیت شده یا هایر شده و هدفشانی است که اون در غیر موجودی اونر اونا کارهایشان یا عملیاتشان پیش ببره. So we can call him agent. So management, as we mentioned, that there are two parties. One is management and the other one is shareholders. So the management are also called agent. Within the corporation, management is called the agent. But the owners or the shareholder are also called the principal. Owner, shareholder or principal gufta mesha wa management ra agent gufta mesha. So this is what we may say, that the manager will act as an agent. They will work on the behalf of the owners. So dear students, when there is two parties, the one party is called the management, and the other party is called the owners. So the owners is having different objectives, and the management is having different objectives. So we mentioned that there are two parties. One is called the owner party, and the other one is called the management party. Management. So owners, we may say that owners are the people who will provide capital to the company. Owners are the people who will provide capital, owners. And management are the people who will run the day-to-day operations. Both of the parties is having different goals. Like for example, the owners is having their own goals, and the management is having their own goals. Both of the parties is having different goals. The owner goal is to maximize the wealth. And the owner goal is to maximize the wealth. Owner goal हमेशा ये असता कि wealth इशान चिशावा to maximize wealth maximization. This is the owner interest. This is the interest of owner. Owner the interest dara and interest to maximize their wealth. But what is the interest of management? The management interest is to take quick decision and to get good credits on that decisions. So this is what the management interest. So if you see, we have discussed two things. One is the interest of owners. So the owner's interest is wealth maximization. But another side, we have another party which are called the management, and management is always interested to take those decisions which are like, for example, for short period of time, and second, on the basis of that decision they are interested to get the bonus, or to get the credits, or to get, like for example, values from the managers. So dear students, at the same time there is two types of like for example views. When we have, like for example, one view of wealth maximization and the other group view as a getting credit. So see, two views will occur, and these two views will create a conflict. These two views will what it will create? It will create a conflict of interest conflict of interest between the owner and between the conflict of interest, one thing, and conflict of interest of management. So both the parties will have the conflict of interest. One party is interested to have, like for example, one party is interested to have to maximize their wealth, and the other party is interested to get quick decisions, profitable decisions, and on the basis of that decision they should take the credit from the owners. So this conflict of interest is called agency problem. This conflict of interest, that we may see over here, this conflict of interest is called the agency problem. This conflict of interest is called the agency problem. Agency problem because of the conflict between two parties, one owner and the other one is management. Okay, good. So agency problem will describes you about the conflict between the manager and the conflict between owners. So we mentioned earlier, managers are also called agent and owners are also called the principals. What are the concern of owners? Concern owners the business chest, what for they are looking. Ina por chi dilchaspi dara, the godam chiza ina dilchaspi dara. So see, the owners is always looking for long-term performance of the business. They are always having concern for the long-term performance, and long-term performance is the wealth maximization. So they are interested to have their business for a long period of time, and they are interested to improve their earning per share, their current and future cash flows, to have dividends at the end of the period and etc. This is what the interest of the owners. But manager's interest is, the manager is having concern, they are interested, the managers are interested, this is the management concern or the manager. So manager will always focus on quick decision, which will have a quick response, and their objectives from this quick decision, their objective from this quick decision is to get credit on the basis of their performance, because they will take short-term decisions, and these short-term decisions will help them to get for example, benefit from their owners or from their from the shareholders. So that's why in short time of period the managers may take risky decisions or risky تصامیم مشکینا بسیار تصامیم خطرناک و risky بگیرن. So when they are taking risky decisions, then what will happen? These risky decisions will affect the shareholder decisions. These risky decisions, what it will do? These will affect the shareholder wealth, because they are thinking for short period of time, but the shareholders are having a concern for long period of time. So that's why we may say these decisions can put the owner's objectives at stake. E tasmim ke asta ya ye short term tasamim ahda pe daraz muddati onarara batirak mezana, yani mean it is a type of qimar, they will take a qimar. So hence manager should align his objectives to the organization objectives. So at this place, the job of manager is they should align their objectives to the owner's objectives or to the organization objectives, and they should work for the organization objectives, and they should take decisions where there is a trade-off between risk and return. In a har tasmim ki megira, so the tasmim shown by trade-off basha, trade-off between the profit, या we may say यानी profit return हम गुफ्ता मिशा return व risk दवु involved basha, and risk which is involved in that. So the manager should take decisions which are profitable and risk yani mean there is minimum risk in that decisions, so that there should be a trade-off between the profit and return and risk of the business decision. And when there is a trade up between these two, when there is a trade up वक्त की दरमियानी ई trade up bosha sorry when there is a trade up between the profit, return and risk, so what will happen? Actually the wealth will maximize. We can easily maximize the wealth because the wealth maximization is having, like for example, if you remember the earlier slide, so in that we have discussed that wealth maximization is considering the risk, return on investment. It will consider the current cash flows, the future cash flows, and it will also consider the time value of money in decisions, and it will also consider the dividend policy. So that's why we may say that managers should consider all these things, and then they should take smart decisions to satisfy the owners. So dear students, we have discussed about the agency problem. Now we will discuss about the agency theory, what the agency theory tell us and what is agency theory. So this theory has been developed by Jensen and Mickling, and this is a theory of the firm based on agency theory. They have developed this theory, and the name of this theory is called agency theory. Why it's called agency? Because agency mean the firm, yeah, company. So they have developed this theory to solve the problem between agents and principal. Okay, so what does agency theory mean? Agency is a branch of economic. Agency theory is a branch of economic relating to the behavior of principals and their agents. Principals mean the owners and agents mean the management. So we have earlier discussed that in the companies there are two groups. One is called principal and another one is called agent. Principal mean owners and agents mean the management. Owners will provide capitals for running the company, and agents will run the day-to-day operations of the company. They are responsible for the day-to-day operations of the company. Okay, so what does the agency theory tells you? What we should do if there is conflict between management and owners? When there is two types of interest, the conflict of interest between manager and owners. Owners will have long-term perspective. Owners is always looking for the wealth maximization, but management is always thinking shortly, and they are in hurry to earn profit and to get like their bonuses and incentives. So what we should do, what the owners should do at this time? So agency theory will find solution for this problem. The agency theory will tells you that principal must provide incentives. Principal must provide incentives. Principals over here mean the owners should provide incentives to management. And when they provide incentive to management, so what the management will do? Management will act on the best interest of the principal. So when so the focus of this theory is the theory tells the owners to provide incentives to management, and when they provide incentives to management, what will happen? The management will do for the best interest of the principals. And one thing more that this theory tells us, along with incentives, theories will focus on monitoring of these things, and we should monitor the results, we should monitor the incentives, and we should monitor the performance of the company. So dear students, here we will have two concepts in this okay, so the monitoring the results mean that we should monitor what the results of these incentive is. So if you see over here this chart, this will explain you about the agency theory. See, this is about the agency theory. This topic is about the agency theory, and what agency theory tells you, and management will take optimal decision at time when, and if you are interested that management should take good decision, so they will take good decision at the time when you will provide them these following things. Like for example, when you provide them incentives and you will monitor these incentives are in this progress. What does incentives mean? Incentives mean ask them to purchase the stock of the company, the shares of the company, or tell them that please come become the owner of the business, and you mean give them a portion of your business, give them the investment opportunity, and also give them the bonuses. Bonuses like for example extra salary, like for example other things. So these are called incentives. Incentives are also perquisites. What does perquisites mean? Perquisites, what does this mean? Yani mean give them the opportunity to use the company cars, to use the automobiles of the company, and also provide them the expensive offices. What type of offices they are interested, build them such type of offices, decorate them the offices. So what they will do, they will take optimal decisions for the best interest of the company. So when you will provide them these incentives, when you will provide them the stock options, when you will provide them the bonuses, when you will provide them your company automobiles, when you will provide them the expensive offices, and when you will provide them the perquisites, so what they will do, they will take optimal decisions for the best interest of the company. They will take the optimal decisions for the best interest of the shareholders. But keep in mind that only incentive provision is not the, like for example, the end. Incentive provision is not only the end, but what we should do, the business owners should monitor the results of these incentives. They should always see, and they should watch what happened to the business, to the performance of the business. So see how the business managers can do monitoring process. So they can do this through auditing the financial statement of the company. They can do the audit of the company financial statements. These may be balance sheet, these may be income statement, and these may be like for example the owner equity statements. They may see the cash flow statement and etc. So always do audit for the financial statements of the company. Along with this, monitor the perquisites that you have provided to the company managers, and are using these perquisites rightly for the best interest of the organization, or like for example how they will use these resources that you have provided to them. And also keep some limitation in the management decision upon them. So yeah, always sometimes involve yourself while they are taking some of the important decisions of the company. So actually if we see the monitoring process, so it is having cost for the organization. It is a very costly activity when the company is doing audit, for example, when the company is like for example monitoring the perquisites, the perquisites of the managers, and it's also a time consuming activity. So it is having cost, but this cost is not that much important. The control is the most of the important things for the managers. So it is a good source for the controlling of the organizational resources within the company. So dear students, in our today class we have discussed about the three important things. First of all, we have discussed about corporation, and we explain, this is the conclusion of the today class. We explain that corporation is a separate legal entity where there is two parties. One is called shareholders and the other one is called the management. Shareholders are the capital providers and management are the people who will run the day-to-day businesses. The role of management and corporation is the management will act as an agent, and agents mean these are the people, these are the individuals who are authorized by the principal mean owners, to act on their behalf within the company. So when there are two groups, the management and the shareholders, actually conflict of interest will arise. The interest of the owners is to maximize the wealth, but the interest of the management is to take decisions which is having higher profit, and it may be for short period of time. So conflict will arise between the shareholders and between the managers. So at this situation, the managers are always interested to get credit for their performance. They may always take risky decisions, short-term decisions, which will put a stake on the objectives of the organizations. So at this situation, the manager should align his objectives to the organization objectives, and they should take those decisions which is having a good fit or a good trade-off between risk and return, and they should work for the wealth maximization. So to solve this problem, the agency problem, Jensen and Meckling developed a theory which are called the agency theory. And agency theory is a branch of the economic, and this theory will explain the behavior of principal and agents. So this theory concluded that principal should provide incentives, and they should ask the management to purchase the stock of the company. They should provide bonuses to the management, and they should give them perquisites. Perquisites mean to provide them like automobile of the company, the expensive offices, and etc. So when the managers, the owners provide all these incentives to management, so management will then take optimal decisions, good decisions for the wealth maximization of the company. But the Jensen and Meckling will also focus on monitoring of all these incentives, or monitoring of the results of the management. The Jensen and Meckling theory explains, or the agency theory explains, that we should audit all the financial statement of the company at the end of the period. The shareholders should do this. They should review the perquisites of the management, which has already assigned to them, that they are using these things rightly. And also they should, like for example, these two process is costly for the organization, but it is a good way for controlling of the company performance. Okay, dear students, this was about the agency theory, and I hope that you have understand about it. Wish you success. Have a good day. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.